Welcome, welcome, welcome to your today's nugget from the Lord. And it's Wellness Wednesday. And you're here with more. And as always, one is feeling jubilant. Yes, I am. So, how is everybody today on this Wellness Wednesday? We are in the middle of the week. December is in full swing. And I say that because there all the Christmas music, the Christmas commercials, the sales. I don't know if I'm the Grinch, but I'm just not ready for this yet. I haven't even managed to overcome the fact that I didn't experience summer because I was entrapped. I was locked in. And now you want me to welcome Christmas. I mean, come on. This year needs to be stretched out. We need to at least go into March before we even claim that it's 2021. Anyway, for all of those who are looking forward to the festive season, I'm happy for you. As for me, I will take it as a day to sleep. I'm excited. Way! Anyway, what are we talking about today on this Wellness Wednesday? Well, before we get into that, let me share with you our National Day. And our National Day is another one that is dear to me because it's our National Special Education Day. And that's one of the fields that I work in. And I will tell you now that children and young people with special educational needs are a joy to work with. Sometimes they can be a bit quirky, and also sometimes they can be a bit nasty. I'm going to keep it real. But on the whole, they are lovely. And especially those ones with challenging behavior, woo, that's where you need prayer and fasting. But I can tell you, when you get beneath that rough, tough, barriered exterior, you will be amazed at the beautiful gems that are underneath there. So let's have a look at our Special Education Day. And it's one that I think is important for us to acknowledge. So it's National Special Education Day, and let's look into the history of it. Special Education Day was first celebrated in 2005, which was the 30th anniversary. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which was enacted by President Gerald Ford and signed into law on November 29th of 1975. In 1990, the Education for All Handicapped Children Act was renamed the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, and improved access for all children with developmental delay. Through the years, the Act has been enhanced to improve services and standards throughout the educational system. IDEA Impact. IDEA made education available to all American children and to this day honors the progress that has been made in special education. Before IDEA, many individuals with disabilities received little to no education. Children were not required to, schools were not required to make accommodations for children with special needs. And while some states offered special schools, the education and resources were not necessarily equal. Additionally, many parents couldn't afford to send their children to special schools anyway. The law stipulated that children with disabilities had a right to the same free education that every child had access to between the ages of 3 to 21. And there are 13 different areas where children may qualify under the IDEA for services. IDEA was an instrumental in increasing graduation rates for students with special needs. And IDEA resulted in many changes beyond bringing students equal education. The integration of students also helps to remove the stigma of disabilities and special needs. Another result of IDEA was the stimulation of technology for students with special needs and for their classrooms. These technologies improve the education of all students, explore the history of IDEA legislation and how it has impacted the lives of those with disabilities. Share how IDEA impacted your life if it has, or the life of a family member, because children with special needs and disabilities are gems and you can learn and enjoy so much with them. So that's our National Day. There are a few others because there seems to be quite a few at this time of the year, like some, what is it? enjoy your mutt day. I mean, really? It's a pooch day. It's for people with pooches. That's for you. But yeah, no, that's not for me. So, what are we going to talk about today in Wellness Wednesday? What are we going to talk about? I hear you say. Well, enough. That's exactly how I'm going to start it. Enough. It's enough, and we just had enough, and you do not need to be a victim anymore. And I know if you know me and you have been following me, and oh, that reminds me, let's give my special plug. Please like and subscribe and share this video so that others will learn and hear, and it could save a life. Please do that. Like, share, subscribe on YouTube to the iReach project, and please share this with everybody that you know, because it may save a life. And I'm an advocate for this. I'm sorry. Social justice. It's one of my things. And, working with domestic violence and women and children in this area, and men, because many people don't believe men experience, abuse, sexual abuse, molestation, and domestic violence. They're classified as 8 forms of abuse. And I am so in awe at how we are still suffering, and it's still hidden and under the rug. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's an embarrassment statement. Well, no, people need to be held accountable, and this crap needs to stop. And I know I shouldn't have said that, but it does. It's very, very disheartening to know that people are struggling and suffering with this, even now in such times. And so let me just share with you why I'm back on my soapbox. And I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. So chatting with somebody that I know, and I was like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I noticed that you're supporting one of the causes that I'm for, blah, 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 blah. And just out of the blue, that's because it's my story. I said, huh? What are you talking about? She goes, yeah, it's my story. I said, what? No. I mean, your family is like perfect. I mean, your husband's lovely. You got the 2 children. You do this. He's always coming to the, you guys always come to the school. You're at the school functions. He picks up, he picks up. She says, no. She said, this is my story. And I was like, wow. Once again, you just never know. You just never can tell what somebody is going through behind closed doors. And I'm going to tell you, I was flabbergasted, because that scenario, they just don't look the type to be going through this experience. And I was like, no. And then she said, could I talk to you about it? Could I share with you what I'm going through? And I was like, wow. Yes. Because this is what I do, and this is what I'm here for. And so we're going through a process, but it just highlighted for me once again that, especially at this coming time of festive season, that many men and women and children will be being brought back into a very toxic situation, because they'll be on holidays, vacation time, people will be off, and they will be more in line to be abused. Enough is enough. You do not have to be a victim anymore. And I'm going to share with you and highlight some things to you so that you can be fully aware of what is going on and what's happening to someone you know, a loved one, a friend, a colleague. Be aware, people, and let's stop pretending that this is not out there. Don't let me start to get up on my soapbox, because I am so passionate about this. And there's so many other people that are with me on this cause. And, you know, sometimes I'm just like, if you ever watched Tyler Perry's Medea, and there was one, is it Diary of a Mad Black Woman or something, I think. And she told her later on, go and boil them grits and get that and just flip. Listen, if you're like me and you come from that, African, West Indian background, listen, get the Dutch pot, my girl, get the lid, whatever. Let me not get there, because I'm gonna start getting up. But what I'm saying is, on a real for real, this has got to stop. So let's look into this. Look at the warning signs and be there for a friend, a sister, a cousin, a brother, a relative, anyone that a son, a daughter, because it's important for them to know that they're not going through this on their own. Okay, so let me share this with you. And I thought, let me go first into the word, because I need to do Jesus to keep me calm. So I thought I would look for a Psalms that really would cover us and be a protection. And it came to me, Psalms 91. You who sit down in the high God's presence, spend the night in Shaddai's shadow, say this, and this is what you pray: God, you're my refuge. I trust in you and I'm safe. That's right. He rescues you from hidden traps, shields you from deadly hazards. His huge outstretched arms protect you. Under them, you're perfectly safe. His arms fend off all harm. Fear nothing, not wild wolves in the night, not flying arrows in the day, not disease that prowls through the darkness, not disaster that erupts at high noon. Even though others succumb all around, drop like flies right and left, no harm will even graze you. You'll stand untouched, watch it all from a distance. Watch the wicked turn into corpses. Yes, because God's your refuge, the high God, your very own home. Evil can't get close to you. Harm can't get through the door. He ordered his angels to guard you wherever you go. If you stumble, they'll catch you. Their job is to keep you from falling. You'll walk unharmed, lions and snakes, and kick young lions and serpents from the path. I'm just like, Lord, we need protection. We need you to come in right now and protect all those households where they are in a precarious situation. If you'll hold on to me for dear life, says God, I'll get you out of any trouble. I'll give you the best of care. If you'll only get to know and trust me, call me and I'll answer. Be at your side in bad times. I'll rescue you, then throw you a party. I'll give you a long life and give you a long drink of salvation. And I'm just going to be truthful. As much as I want you to cover your home and cover your situation in that prayer, you need to cry out to God, because where is he when you are going through this stuff? That's the question that I asked. Where are you when I'm going through this? When I ended up in hospital, fractured skull, busted, where were you then? Where were you? But guess what? God revealed to me, I went through what I went through because it is now those experiences, those challenges, those things that I've overcome that allow me to be before you and allow me to be there for many men and women that have experienced abuse, domestic violence, and sexual molestation. I am telling you, my story is crazy, but guess what? I'm a survivor. I'm an overcomer, and I'm a fighter, and I don't allow my circumstances to take my joy. It's enough. Stop the violence now. The Independent is telling us that every 3 days, a woman is killed by a man. And I'm terrified that we've become used to the horror of that statistic. Every 3 days. The grim statistic has morphed into a stubborn inability where, like car crime or burglary, legislation is welcome, but we need determined grit to deliver on the ground and stop this. It's enough. So does your partner display these behaviors, or even a parent or a child? What are some abusive behaviors and how can you identify them? Well, let's look at the major 10. There are a few others, but these are the 10. Isolates you. Emotionally abusive spouses want you to themselves all the time. They do not understand that you had a life outside of their relationship, and one that includes family and friends. It is healthy and normal for you to hang out with other people as well. So if your partner prevents you from doing so, this may be a first sign of an abusive relationship. They become verbally abusive. If someone calls you derogatory names, even if they say they're joking, they mean to hurt you and keep you in line. Abusers sometimes cover themselves by blaming you, saying that you need to lighten up and that you're being too sensitive. You are not too sensitive. You are feeling in your gut that this is not the way that you should be treated. They instill fear into you. If you feel fear around your partner or spouse or a parent or child, there's something very wrong. Abusers may try to intimidate you with violence, dominance, or power tactics. For example, intentionally putting you in possibly harmful situations or showing you a gun if they have one collection and stating that they're not afraid to use it. And I remember a story that I will share with you in a few weeks. This lady who's what is her name? Where she experienced her husband putting a gun to her head every morning. Alcohol and drug abuse. Not all abusers use drugs or drink excessive alcohol, but often many do. The addiction can lead to erratic and inappropriate behavior, and substance abuse can be the gateway to emotional abuse and an unhealthy relationship. Blames you or others. If your significant other is always blaming everything on someone else, namely you, this may be a bad sign. If he or she throws a tantrum or attacks you verbally, he or she will say it was because of you. It's not a sign of a healthy relationship if your partner never takes responsibility and never admits to being at fault. They push you away sometimes. This goes along with the isolation technique, where abusers want you all to themselves. If you do something or you go somewhere without your partner, or even if he or she goes along but others are also there, an emotional abuser will punish you later. An abuser may shout, insult, threaten, or worse, all because you were not exclusively hanging out with him or her. Woo, I'm starting to see some things here. They expect you to serve them. An emotional abuser goes through a life feeling entitled to be treated like royalty and wants you to be a willing servant. He or she expects you to do everything and will not help at all. An extremely jealous person. A prominent trait of abusers is their jealousy. An abusive partner or spouse is often jealous of you and other people, even if your dreams and goals, because it may not include them. Their jealousy and rage often are very intangible, and things like your aspirations stem from the lack of control they feel over those aspects of your life, and that you may improve and become better and won't need them and won't desire them. Controls you through emotions. The abuser is a grand manipulator and will sulk and threaten to leave and emotionally punish you for not following their idea of how things should be. An abuser will try to make you feel guilty anytime you exert your will and assert what is right for you. At times, the abuser may appear to be apologetic and loving, and the abuse begins again in a vicious cycle when the abuser feels that he or she has your and the latter is getting physical. If you are in an emotionally abusive relationship, there is a good chance that eventually, if you don't step up, things may get physical. At first, the abuser might just pull your hair or push you or grab you so hard that you bruise. But these may only be warning signs that things are going to escalate further. Support is available. Contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And I have a video to share with you, but another area which we're going to talk about in another week is about gaslighting. And many people may not be familiar with this term, but it's talking about when someone says in the relationship, "Oh, come on, I never said that. You're just being overly sensitive. I don't know why you're making such a big deal of this." Psychologists use the term gaslighting to refer to a specific type of manipulation where the manipulator is trying to get someone else or even a group to question memory or perceptions, and it's always a serious problem, according to psychologists. It is always dangerous, says Robin Stern, PhD, Associate Director of the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence and the author of The Gaslight Effect. He tells us that the danger of letting go of your reality is pretty extreme. It may start out with seemingly small offenses, but the problem is that even more or less insignificant instances of your questioning of your own judgment and reality soon start to happen. Things to the Thanks to the deliberate intent of someone else, it can snowball, and you can end up in a cycle of not being able to negotiate even your daily life in a way where you are clear-minded, can focus and make sound decisions and have a sense of your well-being. Gaslighting. Listen out for that and pay attention. Let me play this for you. Why is it not? Okay.
Do you think you're in an emotionally abusive relationship? According to One Love organization, emotional abuse is any abusive behavior that includes verbal aggression, intimidation, manipulation, and humiliation. Does your partner, friend, or family member show signs of emotional abuse? Here are 14 subtle signs of emotional abuse in relationships. 1. They blame you for things. It's a sign of abuse if your partner blames you for the things they've done. They avoid responsibility and say things like, "You made me do it," or "It's your fault this happened." 2. They avoid certain topics. Does it feel like you're walking on eggshells around your partner? It's a sign if you have to stay quiet about things that bother you and fear it will trigger your partner. 3. They control how you act. Abusers might control how you act by telling you that they're just being helpful. Even if it sounds like they're being supportive, they're still trying to manipulate your behavior. 4. They change your plans. Abusers will change your plans without telling you to keep their control over you. They may surprise you when you're supposed to be meeting your friend, so you have to cancel. In time, you might find yourself dependent on them on what to do. 5. They're emotionally available one moment and distant the next. Is it hard to talk to them because they keep shifting from being emotionally available to unavailable? They don't offer any explanation, or they deny their behavior. It keeps you guessing and in fear of them. 6. They say hurtful things as a joke. It's a sign of emotional abuse when they say things they know will hurt you, but then play it off as a joke. They ignore your feelings and make you doubt yourself and your self-worth. 7. They make you guess what they want. You're not a mind reader, and having a partner that expects you to know what they want all the time is childish and immature. A healthy relationship is built on open communication, not assumptions. 8. They ignore your feelings. Instead of recognizing when something hurts you, they say that you're being too sensitive or emotional. This form of abuse may leave you feeling confused, and you may start to doubt your own feelings. 9. They gaslight you. Gaslighting is when someone lies about what and how things happened, so you doubt your own reality. They may say things like, "This never happened," or "You remember it wrong," to confuse you. This form of abuse will leave you dependent on your partner for everything. 10. They act differently when you're with other people. There are two ways your abuser may act. They may be caring and considerate in public to fool everyone, or they might be distant and unloving as a way to control how you behave with your friends and family. 11. Their love is conditional. Saying they don't love you when you disagree or argue is a sign of emotional abuse. It bases the relationship on validation instead of connection and implies that you're only worthy of love when you do what they want. 12. They ignore your accomplishments. Abusers may feel threatened by your accomplishments. And so instead of recognizing the work you've done, they downplay or even ignore it altogether. They might say things like, "That's easy, anyone can do that," or "It isn't a big deal." 13. They imply you're not helpful. Abusers will tell you what to do and what to think to control your thoughts and behaviors. They hide this by making it seem that you aren't helpful or that you're selfish. And 14. They need to know where you are. Do they constantly ask you where you are and who you're with? Constantly checking up on you is a form of control since they want to know all of your movements all the time. It shows that they don't trust you or your judgment. Do you see any of these signs in your relationships? Let us know in the comments below.
So now that you have seen some more of the characteristics, how does it make you feel? Are you aware of someone or have seen someone in that situation? One of the things I always like to say is that love shouldn't hurt. Love should be freely given as well as freely taken. And love should make you feel all warm and fuzzy and just good inside. Love should not be painful. Love should not make you feel of low self esteem. And love definitely shouldn't make you feel pain. So we have a problem if love hurts. And I often like to say this simple prayer to say, Father, I know you love me. Please help me to love me enough so that I will not allow anyone who doesn't love me for me to take advantage. Amen. Oftentimes, our inadequacies are because of our self esteem and the love that we lack within ourselves. And I'm not putting us down or putting anyone down, but I know what it's like because I've been there. When you don't love yourself enough, when you don't think you're worthy, when you don't think you're valuable, it allows someone else to take advantage of you. When you feel and you know who you are, I am telling you, the freedom is just invigorating. For me, I think I didn't get to that stage until in my 30s. And I've experienced abuse from a child all the way up. And so when you think about over 15 years of abuse that I can recall, and then to feeling free and being released, I was like a bird out of my cage. And as I grew, because it didn't just happen all at once and whoop, now I'm fine. No, it took time, it took years. And over the years and growing and developing and growing and crying and hurting. But you, when you speak your truth to empowerment, you are free indeed. And the abuser or whatever has no hold over you. I cannot describe to you enough how freeing that is. So I always seek safety in the Lord. And Psalms 4:8 is, in peace and with tranquil heart, I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety and confident trust. And I want to just close with this. Letting go can be one of the hardest things to do in life. And oftentimes we stay in situations because of fear. And you know, I've been talking about fear from last week. I'm talking about fear. Yes, we got to get that fear and hurt out. So, because it's blocking us from moving forward. But at the same time, it can be one of the most powerful and liberating things to do. Letting go can be one of the hardest things to do in life. But at the same time, it can be one of the most powerful and liberating things to do. And I want you to know and remember that you are not alone. There are many organizations out there to support you. Please don't feel like you have to go through it and live it alone. Where do you start? We have the National Domestic Violence Hotline. We've got Let's Be Real. It's a national movement for young people and for young people about relationships. Again, we have the British Association of Anger Management. The early warning signs are there. Women's Health, the Domestic Abuse and Homelessness Association, because many people who are homeless face mounds of domestic abuse and violence. You think that they wouldn't because they're homeless and they're outside, but that's not true. Even in their partnerships out there without the home, they encounter it, or people beat up on them, and that's abuse, whether it's emotional or physical, because they don't respect them because they're homeless. But no one's just made homeless. Something has happened that has placed that person in that situation. And you need to have much more of a kind and understanding nature. So please know that you are not alone. Now more than ever, especially with our pandemic that we're living through, we need to find ways to stay connected with our community. No one should feel alone or without the information and support they need. So, whatever it is, whatever that you may be going through, please, please, please don't go it alone. You have people there for you. I am here to support you, and I have many others that I work with as well as that I share and collaborate with. Just touch base with me, DM me, send me a message, email me, go to my website and get in touch, and I will support, I will send you, signpost you, or support you myself. Also, on Thursdays, as I explained last week, and just to confirm, we will be having the Safe Space Chat Lounge where we can discuss these kinds of topics in a safe space where no one will ridicule you, judge you, and you can feel safe. You can be anonymous if you need to. Please contact me. The details, because it's a safe space, I cannot just put them out online. I need you to contact me and I will share with you the details after we've just had a short, brief talk as to so you can know fully what it's about and what that space is for. So please get in touch and let me know if you want to be a part and join the Safe Space Chat Lounge. It will be every Thursday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. British Standard Time, and which is 4 to 5 Eastern Time. So let me know, DM me some, and I will send you the link. So please, please, please remember, it's enough. The violence has to stop. You do not have to be a victim. Thank you all for listening. And until next week's Wellness Wednesday, have a blessed evening all. Bye bye.